Hello, and welcome to Eagle Transmissions. We want to thank you for considering our franchise for your future. Over the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to show you a hands-on business opportunity with great potential.
That father-son dynamic in business is a very touchy one.
The Block family is very unique.
My dad was a very radical person.
That was the hardest thing about business, trying to keep everybody together. Are you able to edit this?
I'll spare you some of the language.
My dad definitely put me in a position where there was no handouts.
He was very hard to work for.
I'm a very goal-driven person.
Get out and get it done.
When you're working with your dad, that's to be expected.
I felt like I would be an absolute disgrace if I failed.
I didn't tell him I had his back. I mean, he should know that.
Never been in this business. How the hell am I going to fill in for you?
Because of my father, my grandfather, I always wanted to be known for being me, you know, and not just my father's son.
Did you grow up wanting to follow in your father and grandfather's footsteps, or did you want to pursue a different path?
Yeah, I grew up in shops my whole life. Our family doesn't come from a mechanic background, actually. It started with my grandfather and my father. You know, my grandfather was involved in a few different businesses in his time. When he came to Dallas, they decided to get into the transmission business. They bought into an existing transmission franchise. Part of the deal was within a certain amount of time, they would be able to branch off and create their own brand, which is where Eagle Transmission came from, which has evolved over time into full auto repair.
We started the business back in the 80s, early 80s.
I was 20 years old, just getting out of the Marine Corps. I was in charge of running the shop, even though I didn't know a whole lot about it. So we kind of had to learn everything on our own. Our goal was to hire a good crew and do what we were good at. Since I was so customer-oriented, my dad was a good businessman, we really knocked it out of the park with the first shop. I have to hand it to my dad. We went ahead and opened another shop, and ultimately a fourth shop, fifth shop, sixth shop, and my dad thought it would be a good idea to start franchising.
An Eagle Transmission Center is a good franchise opportunity because it combines the facts from the past with the proven potential for the future.
And we started doing really well.
We wound up owning 20 shops, something like that. And everything was done by hand. And whatever I bought, I paid cash for.
Why'd you choose to call it Eagle Transmission?
We just thought it was a good American name. We were gonna soar high, mount up with wings as eagles, you know, scripture. And we thought that was a good fit for us.
My family is in aviation a lot, so my dad kind of forced me to get my pilot's license.
My dad was a pilot, and he made me get my pilot's license, and turned out to be a real passion of mine.
I was in the Navy, and I just got to like the flying. You feel free, you're in complete control.
There's something about it that's just very freeing, and you're completely in control of everything.
Being up in the air and looking down at the scenery, there's just nothing like it.
I'm glad he did. He's always been there pushing me to be another level above everybody, so there's nothing like flying.
When we first started, we had 2 shops, and the hardest part was the pressure of getting everything done and trying to balance the kids and the family. And, you know, when you're working with your dad, that's kind of probably to be expected, to be honest with you.
So I was born in 1996, and man, my earliest memories, I've had plenty of technicians that still work for us that tell me they remember me when I was in diapers at the shop and things like that. It's kind of funny. When my dad fully took over, I was still in high school. And so that came with a lot of challenges for my father. He got up at 4 a.m. and worked his butt off my whole life when I lived there. And I thought that that's what it took to be successful. And so over the course of years, I knew that I wasn't that. I honestly didn't know whether or not I wanted to be involved in it. I believed that there was a lot of unanswered questions that I needed to answer for myself, inside of myself. I was always going to chart my own path. That was my big thing growing up because of my father, my grandfather, and I wanted to be known as David Block II, myself. I wanted my own story, my own journey, and I didn't want to be known as my father's son. I'd be lying if, I said that it was easy growing up. I mean, me and my dad butted heads a lot. I know him and his father butted heads a lot.
Are you able to edit this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Virgil was a great guy, but he was very hard to work for.
Get out and get it done.
And especially if you're his son, that standard goes up.
That was the deal.
So David was held to a higher standard.
My father was very driven.
He's a product of his age and time.
Born and raised on a farm.
It was good, but it was also challenging.
Before he went into the military, he was not a nice guy.
It was his way, or he'd let you know it.
Everything had to be his way, and it's still right now today.
I don't know how many times I quit and got fired, and
If you don't have the right guy, you ain't got no business.
then now my son is working with me, so I try to remember what I dealt with.
Growing up, it was like living in a successful man's home, but being a poor man. It was a very interesting way of growing up, for sure. There was a lot of expectations from me, a lot of high standards, and my dad didn't exactly just give me the freebie card with too many things.
Very similar to Virgil and David Sr. He's tough on him.
People would always look at me and be like, oh, you just got it made, and
I was friends with him for a long time, so I knew exactly, like, he wasn't just getting whatever he wanted. Like, he didn't get anything unless he worked his ass off for it.
if I couldn't afford lunch, and then I'd have somebody, oh, well, your dad owns a jet. How can you not afford lunch? It'd be like, I didn't know how to explain that.
I'm a very goal-driven person, so dreams become thoughts, thoughts become actions, actions become reality.
I knew I wanted to go into business for myself eventually. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit at heart. So Mike Lepers was the vice president of the franchise during the time.
We have a very, very good relationship, D2 and I.
He's like a father figure to me. He's been a mentor of mine my whole life.
He worked in one of my shops and I trained him basically how to run a shop.
And then eventually I saw that there was a shop in Colorado. I saw that as an opportunity. Without my father knowing, I put a deal together. I would run the operation of it. It was 700 miles away, so it was kind of like a dream for me where I'd be able to separate, create my own success, and make a name for myself. I put all my chips in.
He took total ownership of it.
I got that shop January 24th of 2020. If you know anything about that time frame, I mean, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, really. I thought I did. I did not. I was extremely young, and I just wanted the opportunity to get into business. I had just turned 23. There was a lot of low points during that.
I kind of mentored him through that because there's really not a lot of wiggle room for any kind of failure in our industry.
COVID happens. I was about negative $110,000. I was sleeping in the shop. I had a cot in the owner's office. And I didn't want to tell anybody during that time, because it was embarrassing. At that point, I was my father's son. So there was this other side where I have to live up to a certain expectation. I wanted to go beyond it, but I was down here.
I get it, because I worked with my dad, and I wanted to be my own person. I really stood back and let him do what he needed to do.
I just remember being on the ground in the owner's office next to my cot, crying, and not knowing what I was going to do.
I was proud of the fact that he really wanted it. And he did struggle. I know he did.
That was a dark time.
It was the most difficult thing that I've ever done, because I felt like I would be an absolute disgrace if I failed.
The turnaround was D2 attended a seminar. They give you all kinds of ways to help your business.
I knew I had to make a impactful change. I lacked the leadership to make the changes with my current team, so I let all of them go over a weekend. I hired a manager and a master tech, and we went from doing a transmission only, we went to a new model, which was full auto repair. Nobody had done that. This hybrid model that just really works well. I was able to give my dad real data.
He has all the credit of bringing that through COVID and bringing it from one of the bottom shops to the top shop in the company, and started to listen to some of his ideas. And I thought, you know, this guy has what it takes to go take us where we need to go in the future.
I had paid off all my debts and started working alongside my father during that time, and it took a lot off of his plate.
I told David that you, whatever you're doing is better than what I was doing. So let's look at that and let's see if you can teach me what you're doing, and let's incorporate that into the company. And so David had a big part of that. That's the reason our numbers went up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% more than what they were.
We have a lot better relationship now. And I think it does come from that initial separation, for me finding myself and who I am.
I think that's exactly what made him be able to succeed in pretty much any environment, because he started off in the worst environment possible.
Things have gotten better.
Rightfully, he will be the CEO because I can see him forming into that, and all on his own, because I've just stepped back and let him become that, his own person. So I'm really proud of him for doing that. I had my time where I took over, and now I think it's David's time.
I'm trying to get the franchise to 50 locations. Luckily, we have all the tools and resources and coaches that we need to get there.
Just be ready for him to hit 50 stores, because he will.
The way I look at it now is I'm proud to be my father's son. I had to believe in myself and my own ability.
I'm just very thankful and humble-hearted at where we're at.
And I think you'll do wonderful. You're still a young man, you got a ways to go.
The end product speaks for itself. I'm just so proud of him and who he is. I'm very thankful.
Things have gotten much better for this company because we're all pulling in the same direction.
I love Eagle Transmission. I love working here. I'm excited for us to grow, and hopefully I'm there to help it grow.
I'm very thankful to my grandfather. I'm very thankful to my father. I realized that there was a lot of things that I learned passively with how my dad raised me. I knew that I had an advantage getting into business that maybe some other people didn't. And I'm very lucky to be where I am now, for sure.